Have you ever wondered about the true power of dreams? What if a single vision could foretell a destiny filled with betrayal, hardship, and ultimately, triumph beyond imagination? Prepare to uncover a saga that has captivated hearts for centuries, a tale of divine providence, unwavering faith, and the extraordinary journey of a young man whose life was a testament to God's intricate plan. This is not just a story. It's a profound lesson in patience, perseverance, and the ultimate victory of good over evil. This is the complete story of Joseph. In the ancient lands, a young boy named Joseph, beloved by his father Jacob, awoke one morning with a vivid dream etched in his mind. He rushed to his father, his eyes wide with wonder, and recounted a vision of 11 stars, the sun and the fire, the moon, all bowing down to him. Jacob, a man of profound wisdom, immediately understood the dream's immense significance. He recognized it as a divine prophecy, a sign that Joseph was destined for greatness. Yet he also foresaw the potential for jealousy among Joseph's older brothers and cautioned his son to keep this extraordinary dream a secret. But even unspoken, the seeds of envy had already been sown. Joseph's brothers, observing their father's deep affection for him, felt a bitter resentment festering in their hearts. They saw Joseph as a rival, a threat to their own standing, and their jealousy soon spiraled into a dark conspiracy. They began to plot, their minds consumed by a desire to remove Joseph from their lives, unaware of the incredible journey that lay ahead for their innocent brother. One fateful day, the brothers approached their father, feigning innocence and asking for Joseph to accompany them to play. Despite Jacob's reluctance and his premonition of danger, he eventually agreed. Far from home, in a desolate wilderness, their sinister plan unfolded. They led Joseph to a deep, dark well, stripped him of his tunic, and despite his desperate pleas, cast him into its depths. To conceal their heinous act, they smeared Joseph's tunic with the blood of a lamb and returned to their father, weeping crocodile tears and claiming a wolf had devoured their brother. Jacob, heartbroken but suspicious, clung to his faith, believing Joseph was still alive. Meanwhile, at the bottom of the well, Joseph, clinging to a stone ledge, prayed fervently to God for salvation. His prayers were answered when a caravan en route to Egypt stopped at the well for water. The water drawer, pulling up his bucket, was shocked to find a young boy clinging to the rope. Joseph was quickly shackled and taken to Egypt, where he was sold into slavery. The word spread like wildfire through Egypt. A strikingly handsome and athletic boy was to be auctioned. The wealthy and elite flocked to the auction, eager to see if the rumors were true. The bidding escalated rapidly, and Joseph was ultimately sold to Al-Aziz, the chief minister of Egypt, a man who had no children and was captivated by Joseph's presence. He instructed his wife to care for Joseph, hinting at the possibility of adoption. Joseph, now a young man, not only grew in physical beauty, but was also blessed with extraordinary knowledge and wisdom by God. His integrity and honesty quickly won the trust of Al-Aziz, who placed him in charge of his household. It was during this time that Joseph faced his second great trial. Zuleika, Al-Aziz's wife, became increasingly infatuated with Joseph, her feelings escalating into an uncontrollable obsession. One day, when her husband was away, she closed the doors and attempted to seduce Joseph. But Joseph, fearing God above all else, firmly rejected her advances, declaring, "I seek refuge in God. Indeed, He is my master, who has made good my residence. Indeed, wrongdoers will not succeed." He turned to flee, running towards the closed door, but Zuleika, in her desperation, grabbed his shirt from behind, tearing it. At that very moment, Al-Aziz entered, ashamed Zuleika immediately accused Joseph of evil intent. Joseph, baffled by her lies, asserted his innocence, stating, "It was she who sought to seduce me." Al-Aziz, a just man, was unsure whom to believe. He consulted a relative of his wife, who advised him, "If his shirt is torn from the front, then she has told the truth, and he is of the liars. But if his shirt is torn from the back, then she has lied, and he is of the truthful." Upon seeing Joseph's shirt torn from the back, his innocence was unequivocally proven. Al-Aziz apologized for his wife's indecency and swore Joseph to secrecy. However, the story of Zuleika's pursuit of Joseph spread throughout the city, leading other women to ridicule her. Distressed, Zuleika devised a plan to prove Joseph's irresistible charm. She invited these women to a banquet, serving them fruit and knives. As they were engrossed in conversation and slicing fruit, Zuleika summoned Joseph. The women, upon seeing his angelic beauty, were so astonished that they unknowingly cut their own hands. Zuleika seized the moment to declare that this was the man for whom she was blamed. She then warned Joseph that if he continued to deny her, he would be imprisoned. Joseph, unwavering in his faith, replied, "My lord, prison is more to my liking than that to which they invite me." That night, Zuleika convinced her husband that imprisoning Joseph was the only way to safeguard her honor and his prestige. Despite knowing Joseph's innocence, Al-Aziz reluctantly agreed. Thus, Joseph was unjustly imprisoned. Years passed, and Joseph remained in prison, his faith unshaken. During his time there, he was blessed with the ability to interpret dreams, a divine gift that would soon change his fate. 2 other men were imprisoned with him, the king's cupbearer and his baker. One day, they both had vivid dreams and sought Joseph's interpretation. The cupbearer dreamt of pressing grapes into wine for the king, and Joseph interpreted this to mean he would soon be released and restored to his position. The baker dreamt of carrying bread on his head, which birds were eating, and Joseph, with a heavy heart, interpreted this to mean he would be crucified and birds would feast on his head. Both interpretations came true. Before the cupbearer's release, Joseph asked him to mention his plight to the king, hoping for his freedom. However, the cupbearer, in his joy and haste, forgot Joseph, and so he remained in prison for several more years, patiently enduring his confinement and remembering God. Then, one day, the king of Egypt had a disturbing dream. He saw 7 fat cows being devoured by 7 lean cows and 7 green ears of grain being consumed by 7 dry ones. Troubled by this vision, he summoned all his wise men and magicians, but none could interpret its meaning. It was then that the cupbearer, suddenly remembering Joseph, spoke of his extraordinary ability to interpret dreams. The king, intrigued, immediately sent for Joseph. Joseph, brought before the king, listened intently to his dream. With divine inspiration, he explained that the 7 fat cows and green ears represented 7 years of abundant harvest, while the 7 lean cows and dry ears symbolized 7 years of severe famine that would follow. Joseph then advised the king to take immediate action, to store a portion of the abundant harvest during the fertile years to prepare for the impending famine. Before accepting his release, Joseph, with unwavering integrity, requested that his innocence be thoroughly investigated and cleared, refusing to leave prison under any cloud of suspicion. The king, convinced of Joseph's wisdom and honesty, ordered a full inquiry. The women involved in the earlier incident, including Zuleika, confessed their wrongdoing, confirming Joseph's purity. Thus, Joseph's innocence was unequivocally established, and he was released from prison, not as a slave, but as a man of honor and truth. Impressed by Joseph's wisdom and foresight, the king appointed him over the storehouses of Egypt, entrusting him with the immense responsibility of managing the nation's food supply. Joseph, with his exceptional administrative skills, meticulously oversaw the collection and storage of crops during the 7 years of fertility, ensuring that enough provisions were saved to endure the coming famine. As predicted, the years of abundance gave way to a severe famine that gripped not only Egypt, but also the surrounding lands. People from far and wide came to Egypt seeking food, for only there could provisions be found. Among those who journeyed to Egypt were Joseph's own brothers, sent by their aging father, Jacob, to purchase grain. Joseph immediately recognized them, but they, blinded by time and Joseph's elevated status, did not recognize him. Joseph, concealing his identity, treated them with hospitality and provided them with grain. He then subtly inquired about their family, learning that his youngest brother, Benjamin, was still with their father. Joseph, longing to see Benjamin, devised a plan. He secretly placed the king's golden cup in Benjamin's bag before their departure, knowing this would ensure their return. As the brothers were leaving, they were stopped by the king's soldiers, who accused them of theft. The cup was found in Benjamin's bag, and according to Egyptian law, Benjamin was to be held as a slave. The brothers, distraught, pleaded for Benjamin's release, offering themselves in his place, but Joseph, still in disguise, refused. The thought of returning to their father without Benjamin, after having lost Joseph years ago, filled them with despair. Back in Canaan, Jacob, already burdened by the loss of Joseph, was devastated by the news of Benjamin's predicament. Yet his faith in God remained steadfast. He urged his sons not to despair, reminding them of God's boundless mercy. The brothers, desperate, returned to Egypt, pleading with Joseph for Benjamin's release. It was then, seeing their genuine remorse and their father's enduring sorrow, that Joseph could no longer conceal his identity. In a moment of profound revelation, he declared, "Do you know what you did with Joseph and his brother when you were ignorant?" Shocked and trembling, they finally recognized him. Joseph, with immense compassion, forgave them, saying, "No blame will be upon you today. God will forgive you, and he is the most merciful of the merciful." He then gave them his shirt, instructing them to cast it over their father's face, promising that it would restore his eyesight. The brothers, filled with joy and remorse, hastened back to Canaan. As they approached, Jacob, from afar, sensed the scent of Joseph. When the shirt was cast upon his face, his eyesight was miraculously restored. Overwhelmed with emotion, Jacob and his entire family set off for Egypt. Upon their arrival, Joseph raised his elderly father upon the throne, and in a moment that brought tears to every eye, his parents and 11 brothers prostrated before him. Joseph's childhood dream, once a source of bitter jealousy, had finally come true. It was a beautiful fulfillment of God's decree, a testament to his infinite wisdom and mercy, bringing about the reunion of a family after many years of separation and hardship. The story of Joseph is a timeless narrative, rich with profound lessons for us all. It teaches us the power of patience in the face of adversity, the strength of unwavering faith in God's plan, and the transformative grace of forgiveness. Joseph's journey from the depths of a well to the pinnacle of power reminds us that even in our darkest moments, God is with us, guiding our steps and orchestrating events for a greater purpose. His story is a powerful testament to the fact that trials and tribulations are often pathways to unimaginable blessings. So, as you reflect on Joseph's incredible life, consider how these timeless principles can illuminate your own path. Embrace patience when faced with challenges. Hold firm to your faith when doubts arise, and always seek to forgive, for in forgiveness lies true liberation. May this story inspire you to trust in the divine wisdom that shapes your destiny and to find strength in every step of your own remarkable journey. From the sun-drenched plains of Canaan emerged a young soul, Joseph, whose very existence seemed touched by destiny. He was the 11th son of Jacob, a patriarch revered for his wisdom and piety. Yet Joseph held a special place in his father's heart, a bond that transcended the ordinary. This favoritism, however, cast a long shadow, stirring a potent cocktail of envy and resentment among his elder half-brothers. They watched, their hearts heavy with bitterness, as Jacob showered Joseph with affection, even gifting him a coat of many colors, a symbol of his unique standing. It was in this atmosphere of simmering tension that Joseph, still a tender youth, experienced a dream that would forever alter the course of his life and the destiny of his family. He saw 11 stars, the sun, and the moon, all bowing down to him in humble reverence. A vivid, almost palpable vision. It filled him with an innocent excitement that he eagerly shared with his father. Jacob, with his profound spiritual insight, immediately grasped the dream's prophetic weight. He understood that this was no ordinary nocturnal fantasy, but a divine revelation, foretelling a future where Joseph would rise to a position of immense authority, a leader to whom even his family would ultimately defer. Yet Jacob, acutely aware of the brewing animosity among his other sons, cautioned Joseph to keep this extraordinary vision to himself, fearing the volatile reactions it might provoke. But fate, it seemed, had already set its wheels in motion. The brothers, already consumed by their jealousy, found their animosity reaching a fever pitch. They perceived Joseph's dream not as a divine sign, but as a direct challenge to their own birthright and status. Their hearts, once merely envious, now harbored a sinister intent, a desire to eliminate this perceived threat, to extinguish the light that shone so brightly from their younger brother. They began to whisper, to conspire, their minds weaving a web of deceit and betrayal that would soon ensnare the innocent Joseph in its cruel embrace. Little did they know, their wicked machinations were but instruments in a grander, divine design, a painful prelude to a destiny far more magnificent than any of them could ever imagine. The stage was set for a tale of profound human drama, a narrative woven with threads of jealousy, betrayal, suffering, and ultimately, the triumph of faith and divine justice. The story of Joseph, the dreamer, was about to unfold, a testament to the enduring power of God's plan, even amidst the darkest of human intentions. The air in Canaan grew thick with unspoken tension, a silent battle brewing beneath the surface of familial harmony. Joseph's brothers, their hearts hardened by envy, finally decided to act. They approached their aging father, Jacob, with a seemingly innocent request to take Joseph with them to tend the flocks in a distant pasture. Jacob, his heart heavy with a father's intuition, hesitated. He expressed his fear, a chilling premonition that a wolf might devour his beloved son in the wilderness. But the brothers, masters of deception, reassured him with fervent promises of protection, their words cloaking the sinister intent that festered within their souls. Reluctantly, Jacob consented, unknowingly sending his cherished son into the jaws of betrayal. The journey to the pasture was long, each step taking Joseph further from the safety of his home and closer to the precipice of his fate. Upon reaching their destination, the brothers wasted no time in revealing their true colors. With a chilling ruthlessness, they seized Joseph, stripped him of his cherished coat of many colors, and deaf to his desperate pleas, cast him into a desolate, waterless pit. Their act of cruelty complete, they sat down to eat, their consciences seemingly untouched by the enormity of their crime. To solidify their deception, they slaughtered a goat, smeared Joseph's coat with its blood, and returned to Jacob, feigning grief and presenting the blood-stained garment as proof of Joseph's demise. Jacob, overwhelmed by sorrow, tore his clothes and wept inconsolably, believing his beloved son to be lost forever. Yet, even in his profound grief, a flicker of doubt remained, a father's intuition that whispered of a deeper truth. Meanwhile, in the suffocating darkness of the pit, Joseph, alone and terrified, cried out to God. His fervent prayers, born of desperation and unwavering faith, ascended to the heavens. And God, in his infinite mercy, heard him. A caravan of Ishmaelite traders, journeying from Gilead to Egypt, happened upon the desolate well. As they paused to draw water, they discovered the young boy trapped within. Seeing an opportunity for profit, they hauled Joseph out of the pit, and for a mere 20 pieces of silver, sold him into slavery. Thus Joseph, the dreamer, was torn from his homeland, his family, and his freedom, embarking on a perilous journey to a foreign land, his destiny now intertwined with the bustling markets and grand palaces of Egypt. The word of his striking beauty and athletic physique preceded him, spreading like wildfire through the streets of Egypt. An auction was quickly arranged, drawing the wealthy and elite, eager to acquire such a rare and captivating slave. The bidding was fierce, a testament to Joseph's undeniable allure. Ultimately, he was sold to Potiphar, an influential officer of Pharaoh and the captain of the guard. Potiphar, captivated by Joseph's presence and recognizing his inherent qualities, brought him into his household, unknowingly ushering in a new chapter in Joseph's extraordinary life. Under Potiphar's roof, Joseph's innate wisdom, integrity, and exceptional abilities quickly shone through. God's blessings were evident in everything he touched, and Potiphar, observing his remarkable success, entrusted him with the management of his entire household. Joseph became indispensable, overseeing all of Potiphar's affairs, a testament to his unwavering loyalty and diligence. He grew not only in stature, but also in physical beauty, his striking appearance captivating all who beheld him. It was this very beauty, however, that would soon become the catalyst for his next great trial. Potiphar's wife, a woman of considerable influence and allure, found herself increasingly drawn to Joseph. Her admiration soon spiraled into an obsessive desire, a relentless pursuit that bordered on infatuation. Day after day, she attempted to seduce him, her advances growing bolder and more insistent. But Joseph, a man of profound moral conviction and unwavering faith, steadfastly resisted her temptations. He understood the gravity of her propositions, recognizing them as a betrayal of Potiphar's trust and a transgression against God. He famously declared, "How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" His refusal, however, only fueled her obsession, transforming her desire into a burning resentment. One day, when the house was empty, she seized Joseph, demanding that he lie with her. But Joseph, with the strength born of his faith, tore himself away, fleeing from her grasp, leaving his garment in her hand. Enraged and humiliated by his rejection, Potiphar's wife, a master of manipulation, immediately concocted a fabricated story. She cried out, accusing Joseph of attempting to assault her, presenting his discarded garment as false evidence. Potiphar, returning home to his wife's tearful accusations and the seemingly damning evidence, was filled with rage. Without seeking Joseph's side of the story, he ordered his imprisonment. Thus Joseph, innocent of any wrongdoing, was cast into the Pharaoh's prison, a place of darkness and despair. Yet, even in the confines of his unjust imprisonment, God's favor remained with him. The warden of the prison, recognizing Joseph's exceptional character and abilities, soon entrusted him with the care of all the other prisoners. Joseph's time in prison, though a period of immense hardship, became a crucible for his spiritual growth, a testament to his unwavering faith in the face of adversity. It was here, amidst the despair of incarceration, that Joseph's divine gift of dream interpretation would once again come to the forefront, setting the stage for his eventual vindication and rise to power. Years crawled by in the oppressive confines of the Pharaoh's prison, yet Joseph's spirit remained unbroken, his faith a beacon in the darkness. During his incarceration, he encountered two of Pharaoh's officials, the chief cupbearer and the chief baker, both of whom had incurred the king's displeasure and were cast into the same prison. One night, both men had vivid, perplexing dreams, and in their distress, they sought Joseph's interpretation. The cupbearer dreamt of a vine with 3 branches that budded, blossomed, and produced ripe grapes, which he then pressed into Pharaoh's cup. Joseph, with divine insight, interpreted this to mean that within 3 days, the cupbearer would be restored to his position, serving Pharaoh once again. The baker, in turn, dreamt of 3 baskets of white bread on his head, which birds were eating. Joseph, with a heavy heart, interpreted this to mean that within 3 days, the baker would be impaled on a pole, and birds would feast on his flesh. Both interpretations, delivered with solemn accuracy, came to pass exactly as Joseph foretold. Before the cupbearer's release, Joseph, ever hopeful for his freedom, implored him to remember him to Pharaoh, to speak of his unjust imprisonment. But the cupbearer, in the euphoria of his newfound liberty, forgot Joseph, leaving him to languish in prison for 2 more long years. Then a pivotal moment arrived. Pharaoh himself had 2 disturbing dreams that none of his wise men or magicians could interpret. In the first, he saw 7 fat cows emerging from the Nile, followed by 7 thin, ugly cows that devoured the fat ones. In the second, he saw 7 healthy ears of grain growing on a single stalk, followed by 7 thin, scorched ears that swallowed the healthy ones. The king was deeply troubled, and his court was in a state of consternation. It was then that the chief cupbearer, suddenly remembering Joseph and his extraordinary gift, spoke of him to Pharaoh. Immediately, Pharaoh sent for Joseph, who was swiftly brought from the prison. Joseph, standing before the mighty Pharaoh, listened intently to his dreams. With profound humility and divine guidance, he declared that both dreams were one, a prophecy from God. He explained that the 7 fat cows and healthy ears represented 7 years of abundant harvest that would soon bless Egypt, while the 7 thin cows and scorched ears symbolized 7 years of severe famine that would follow, consuming all the previous abundance. Joseph then offered a solution, a divinely inspired strategy to avert disaster. He advised Pharaoh to appoint a discerning and wise man over the land of Egypt, someone who would oversee the collection and storage of 1/5 of the produce during the 7 years of plenty, creating vast granaries to sustain the nation during the impending famine. This, he explained, would save Egypt from utter devastation. Pharaoh, deeply impressed by Joseph's wisdom and the clarity of his interpretation, recognized the hand of God in his words. He saw in Joseph not merely a prisoner, but a man of extraordinary insight and integrity, uniquely qualified to lead Egypt through this impending crisis. And so, in a dramatic turn of events, Joseph, the unjustly imprisoned slave, was elevated to a position of unparalleled power, second only to Pharaoh himself. He was given Pharaoh's signet ring, fine linen garments, and a gold chain, symbols of his new authority. He was paraded through the streets of Egypt, with heralds proclaiming, "Bow thee a knee." Joseph, now the Grand Vizier of Egypt, ready to embark on the monumental task of preparing the land for the coming famine. Testament to God's unwavering plan and the ultimate triumph of righteousness. Joseph, now the most powerful man in Egypt, meticulously executed his divinely inspired plan. During the 7 years of abundant harvest, he oversaw the collection and storage of vast quantities of grain, filling granaries across the land. His foresight and diligent administration ensured that Egypt was well prepared for the lean years that lay ahead. As predicted, the 7 years of plenty gave way to a severe famine that people gripped not only Egypt, but also all the surrounding lands. The drought was widespread, and hunger became a relentless companion for many nations. But in Egypt, thanks to Joseph's meticulous planning, there was food. Every corner of the known world flocked to Egypt, seeking sustenance, their desperation driving them to the land of abundance. Among those who journeyed to Egypt were Joseph's own brothers, sent by their aging father Jacob from famine-stricken Canaan. They arrived in Egypt, unaware that the powerful vizier before whom they bowed was their long-lost brother. Joseph recognized them immediately, his heart stirring with a complex mix of emotions, memories of their betrayal, but also a deep longing for his family. He concealed his identity, speaking harshly to them, accusing them of being spies. He demanded that they bring their youngest brother, Benjamin, to him as proof of their honesty. The brothers, bewildered and distressed, returned to Canaan, recounting their ordeal to Jacob. Jacob, already heartbroken by the presumed loss of Joseph, was now faced with the prospect of losing Benjamin as well. He reluctantly agreed to send Benjamin with them, but only after extracting a solemn oath that they would protect him. Upon their return to Egypt with Benjamin, Joseph, still in disguise, welcomed them. He arranged a feast, and during the meal, he subtly revealed his special affection for Benjamin. Later, he devised a plan to keep Benjamin with him. He ordered his servants to secretly place his silver cup in Benjamin's sack. As the brothers departed, they were stopped by Joseph's guards, who accused them of theft. The cup was found in Benjamin's sack, and according to Egyptian law, Benjamin was to become Joseph's slave. The brothers were distraught, pleading with Joseph to take one of them instead, for they knew their father would not survive another loss. It was then, witnessing their genuine remorse and their profound concern for their father, that Joseph could no longer contain himself. He sent all his servants out of the room, and in a moment of overwhelming emotion, he wept aloud, revealing his true identity. "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" he cried. His brothers, stunned and terrified, could not answer. But Joseph, with immense compassion, reassured them, "Do not be distressed, and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you." He explained God's divine plan, how his suffering was a means to preserve his family and countless when others from the famine. He then instructed them to return to Jacob and bring him and their entire family to Egypt. The brothers, filled with a mixture of shock, relief, and profound remorse, hastened back to Canaan. As they approached, Jacob, from afar, sensed the scent of Joseph. Joseph's shirt was cast upon his face. His eyesight, which had been dimmed by years of weeping, was miraculously restored. Overwhelmed with joy and gratitude, Jacob and his entire family embarked on the journey to Egypt. Upon their arrival, Joseph welcomed them with open arms. In a moment of profound fulfillment, Joseph raised his elderly parents to the throne, and then, in a scene that brought tears to every eye, his parents and 11 brothers prostrated before him. Joseph's childhood dream, once a source of bitter jealousy and betrayal, had finally come true. It was a beautiful, awe-inspiring culmination of God's intricate plan, a testament to his unwavering love, mercy, and justice. Family, once fractured by envy and deceit, was now reunited, healed, and thriving under Joseph's benevolent care. This reunion was not merely a family gathering. It was a powerful symbol of redemption, forgiveness, and the ultimate triumph of faith over adversity. The story of Joseph, a narrative spanning generations and filled with dramatic twists and turns, stands as an enduring testament to the profound wisdom and unwavering justice of God. It is a tale that transcends time, offering timeless lessons that resonate deeply with the human experience. Joseph's journey, from the depths of a desolate pit to the pinnacle of power in Egypt, is a powerful reminder that even in the face of unimaginable adversity, faith can be an unyielding anchor. His unwavering trust in God's plan, even when circumstances seemed bleak and hopeless, serves as a beacon of hope for us all. He endured betrayal, false accusations, and unjust imprisonment, yet his spirit remained unbroken, his conviction in divine providence unshaken. This narrative teaches us the profound power of patience. Joseph's long years of suffering, his quiet endurance in the face of injustice, ultimately led to his vindication and elevation. It underscores the truth that sometimes the path to our greatest blessings is paved with trials that test our very core. It reminds us that God's timing is perfect, even when it feels agonizingly slow. Furthermore, the story of Joseph is a masterclass in forgiveness. Despite the immense pain inflicted upon him by his brothers, Joseph chose compassion over vengeance. His act of forgiveness, born of a deep understanding of God's overarching plan, not only healed the fractured bonds of his family, but also brought about their salvation from famine. It teaches us that true liberation lies not in holding on to resentment, but in extending grace even to those who have wronged us. It is a powerful illustration that forgiveness is not just for the recipient, but a profound act of self-healing. The narrative also highlights the intricate and often mysterious ways in which God works. What appeared to be a series of misfortunes, the pit, the slavery, the imprisonment, were, in fact, carefully orchestrated steps in a divine plan to elevate Joseph and save his family and an entire nation. It encourages us to look beyond immediate circumstances, to trust that even in chaos, there is a divine order, a purpose unfolding that we may not fully comprehend at the moment. Joseph's story is a testament to the transformative power of character. His integrity, humility, and wisdom, cultivated through years of trials, made him not just a powerful ruler, but a just and compassionate leader. He used his position not for personal gain, but for the welfare of others, embodying the true essence of servant leadership. So, as we reflect on the complete story of Joseph, let us carry forward these profound lessons. Let us cultivate unwavering faith in God's plan, even when the path ahead is unclear. Let us embrace patience, understanding that every trial is an opportunity for growth and a step towards a greater destiny. Let us practice forgiveness, releasing ourselves from the shackles of bitterness and embracing the liberating power of grace. And finally, let us strive to embody the virtues of integrity and compassion, using our gifts and positions to serve others and bring about positive change in the world. For in doing so, we not only honor Joseph's enduring legacy, but also align ourselves with the timeless principles that govern a life of purpose and fulfillment. May this extraordinary tale inspire you to navigate your own journey with courage, faith, and an open heart, trusting that your story, too, is part of a grander, divine design.